Hello friends, myself Sainath Lambade and today we are going to discuss about the human eye from the chapter Control and Coordination. Sense of vision. As you know that eyes gives us a sense of vision and vision is very essential for the survival of the human. Sight or vision is extremely important to the human survival. More than half the sensory receptors in the human body are located in eyes. So, more than half sensory receptors which are mainly present or located in eyes. Large part of the cerebral cortex is devoted to the processing visual information. As you know that our vision or our whatever the information that is carried out in the brain, that is in the cerebral cortex and devoted the process of visual information. The eyes are a pair of sensory organs of vision. So first of all we'll see the location. Located in the orbit of skull with a cushion of fats around them. So anybody ask you the location that located in the orbit of skull, orbit of a skull and having a cushion of fat around them. Each eye is spherical or rounded and called eyeball. Protection to the eye. The eyes are protected by the bones, eyebrows, upper and lower eyelids with eye lashes and the lacrimal or tear glands. The movement of the eyeball within the orbit is controlled by the six sets of muscles. Six sets of muscles. There are the six sets of muscles which are attached to the eyeball. We'll see the one by one. So muscles, first muscles, superior rectus, that is the cranial nerve control for this superior rectus, that is the oculomotor. Then what is the movement of this superior rectus? Movement is upward of the eyeball. Then inferior rectus, that is also controlled by the oculomotor and the movement is down. Then followed by that medial or internal rectus, that is also controlled by the oculomotor towards the nose. Then followed by this, that is lateral or external rectus, that is controlled by the nerve, that is abducens away from the nose, the movement of the eyeball from the away from the nose. Then superior oblique, that is controlled by the trochlear nerve and movement is down and in. Followed by the superior oblique, that is inferior oblique, that is also controlled by the oculomotor, movement is up and out. So we'll see some again more important protection given to the eye, that one more slide I will show you that about this, that protection. The eyes are protected by the eyelids, that is having the nictitating membrane. Then followed by these eyebrows, that are having the hairs. Then eyelashes, two rows of stiff hair, the hairs like a stiff, that are the straight hairs in the eyelashes. Then adipose tissue, that fat layer near the eye. They're having the presence of adipose tissue that gives a fat layer which help in the shock absorbing to the eyes and give the protection. Then glands, they associated with the eyeball. There is a meibomian gland, that is a modified or sebaceous gland, that is a modification of sebaceous gland. Then followed by this meibomian gland, there is having the presence of glands of Zeus, there is having the presence of glands of Zeus and glands of mole, that is a modified sweat gland. So lacrimal system, that tear producing throughout the lacrimal duct, there is having the presence of lysozyme present in the lacrimal system. This lacrimal system, you see the drawing of this lacrimal system. See this, there are given the number. First one is this is above first one number, that is a lacrimal gland. Then two number, that is called as a lacrimal duct. This is a lacrimal duct, and followed by that a tear film. The whatever the tear comes on the eyes, that are forming a tear film. Then followed by this fourth number, that is a superior or inferior canaliculi. This superior one and this downer one is the inferior canaliculi. Then followed by this fifth number, a lacrimal sac. This is a lacrimal sac, fifth number. And followed by the lacrimal sac, there is having the presence of nasolacrimal duct. That is a nasolacrimal duct, which is drain into the nose, which is drain into the nose. So we'll see the next slide one. Then followed by this, we'll see the wall of the eyeball is made up of three layers. The wall of the eyeball is made up of three layers. We'll see one by one. The outermost layer, that is called as a sclera or sclerotic. Then followed by this outer, there is a middle layer, that is called as a choroid or uvea. Then followed by this inner layer, there is having the presence of retina, or that is also called as a neural layer or tunic nervosa. And this choroid is another name for the choroid. There is a vascular layer, and this sclera or sclerotic, there is also having another name for that, that is also called as a fibrous layer. This fibrous layer has been divided into again two types, that is the sclera and cornea. Sclera and cornea. And this vascular or choroid layer again divided into three parts, that is the choroid, ciliary body and iris. And this innermost part, that is the retina or tunica nervosa, that is divided into two parts, that is a neural part and pigmented part. Retina has been divided into two parts. There is having the neural part, means having the presence of neuronal cells, and that pigmented part. Then we'll see the coats of eye. The coat of eye, there is having the two coats, that is a complete coat and incomplete coat to the eye. The complete coat, that is the outermost fibrous coat, that is a tunica fibrosa. That is having the name, another name, that is a tunica fibrosa, or that is again one more name, that is a corneoscleral coat. Corneoscleral coat, that has been divided into two types, that is a cornea and sclera. Then middle, this come under the incomplete coat, middle vascular coat, that is also having another name, uvea or uveal tract, that has been divided into three types, choroid, ciliary body and iris. Followed by this innermost nervosa coat, that is a tunica nervosa, that is also incomplete coat. Now another one, we'll see that one by one, that is the outermost layer, that is a sclera, or that is also called as a sclerotic. The fibrous coat or outermost. Sclera is the outermost coat, and that is a form of fibrous connective tissues. So it is the outermost layer made up of dense fibroelastic connective tissue with the collagen fibers and fibroblast. This sclera is formed of the layer made up of dense fibroelastic connective tissue with again having the presence of collagen fibers and fibroblast cells. This cornea is an extension of sclera. Cornea is the extension of sclera. Cornea forms anterior part about 1/6 part, and sclera forms posterior 5/6 part of the eyeball. So cornea takes about 1/6 part and sclera takes about 5/6 part of the eyeball. Sclera is a white of the eye. Sclera is a white color of the eye. It is opaque. It is a opaque means अपारदर्शक. मराठीत आपण काय म्हणणार त्याला, अपारदर्शक. Nothing will be seen inside, or nothing from the inside will be given outside. अपारदर्शक, opaque layer, that is the sclera is a white of the eye, that is opaque. It appears slightly bluish in a newborn babies because it is translucent So, melanin of the choroid reflects the sclera. In the newborn babies, that sclera is giving some bluish color because the whatever the melanin which is present in the choroid, that is reflected, and that reflected color is given to the sclera. That is a bluish color in the newborn babies. It provides attachment to the eyeball muscles. This gives attachment to the eyeball muscles. It covers the entire eyeball except the cornea. Function of the sclera: it gives shape to the eyeball. It makes eyeball more rigid. It protects the inner parts of the eyeball. It resistant to mild acids and alkalis. Then followed by this sclera, we'll see the cornea. Cornea, it is an extension of sclera. It bulges out. It means bulges out. You see, I will draw for you. See, this is a posterior part, and this posterior part of human eye, and this is a scleral part, and this is a cornea. This is a cornea. Cornea bulges out, and this is a scleral part, sclera. So this bulges out, this cornea comes little bit outward pouch that bulges forward about the diameter 11 millimeter. Cornea is perfectly transparent, avascular layer. Perfectly cornea is a transparent and avascular layer. It allows free entry of light. Cornea allows free entry of light. It is curved. The cornea is a curved structure and helps the focus light on to retina. Cornea provides maximum refraction of light. Cornea, it gets nutrition from the aqueous humor. Cornea is avascular. There is no blood vessel present, so it takes the nutrient from the aqueous humor. Cornea has a rich nerve supply. Cornea is not having blood vessel, but cornea is having the rich supply of nerve supply. It is very sensitive to touch and pain. Cornea is very sensitive to touch and pain. Tears continuously flow over cornea and keep it moist. Cornea also takes oxygen from the air. During eye transplantation, or keratoplasty, cornea is transplanted. The cornea transplants are the oldest in medical history and most successful. Because why it is the most successful cornea transplantation? Because cornea is avascular. So there is no problem of immunological rejection by the recipient. For histology of the cornea, the more smaller structure in the cornea, outer surface, consists of non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. At the outer surface, what is present of the cornea, that is a non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. Followed by that, middle coat consists of collagen fibers and fibroblast, and followed by these, inner surface is simple squamous epithelium, and again fourth one, that is a Bowman's membrane, is a part of cornea. Bowman's membrane is a part of cornea, and we'll see this last one in the cornea, that is a canal of Schellham. At the junction of the sclera and cornea is an opening known as sclera venous sinus or canal of Schellham. A fluid called aqueous humor draining into the sinus produced by a ciliary processes. This aqueous humor is produced by the ciliary processes. If the question arises, who produced the aqueous humor is produced by the ciliary processes. If it blocks, may cause glaucoma. If this drain line or this canal is blocked, which type of disease will cause? That is a glaucoma. Glaucoma means a kala moti. that is a Kala Moti. In this, if it is not treated properly, you may lose your vision also. It is Kala Moti. Then followed by this, we'll see the vascular tunic, means middle coat or uvea. The second layer, that is a vascular tunic, or another name for that, middle coat or uvea. It is a middle layer of eyeball. It is a middle layer of eyeball, and it is composed of three parts. It is composed of how many parts? Three parts: choroid, ciliary body, and iris. It is a middle vascular and pigmented layer and not a complete layer. How is the middle layer? It is a vascular, means highly presence of blood vessels, and pigmented layer, but not a complete layer. Choroid proper, it lines the sclera. Wherever the sclera is present, the sclera is lined innerly by the choroid. It is lined by the choroid, that pigmented layer. Due to its pigmented nature, it prevents the internal reflection. Due to this pigmented layer absorb whatever the light which is enter in the eyes, that is absorbed by this pigmented layer, that won't reflect the light outside. The blood vessels of choroid provides nutrition and oxygen to the retina. It also contains melanocyte that produce melanin pigment, and melanin cause this layer to appear dark brown color. So melanin absorbs stray light. Which light is reflected? That light is reflected. That light is stray light rays are converts eyeball into the dark chamber. That is converted into the dark chamber. And followed by this, we'll see the one that albinos lack melanin in all parts of the body, including the eye. The albinos, those who are having the, we can say in Marathi that white, म्हणजे कोड असणारे माणसं, त्यांच्यामध्ये एक मराठीमध्ये म्हणू शकतो की त्यांच्यामध्ये मेलॅनिन सिक्रेशन कमी असतं. मग अल्बिनोज लॅक अ मेलॅनिन इन ऑल पार्ट्स ऑफ द बॉडी इन्क्लुडिंग द आय, अँड दे ऑफन नीड टू विअर अ सनग्लास. So we'll see the ciliary body in the next lecture. Thank you.